So it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and I decided, basically, if I was going to do this again, I thought I'd challenge myself a little more. So, yes, this is going to be basically what Dangonropa characters would get lantern rings. I've done this with Ruby, I've done this with I think I've done this with Ladybug, I've done this with Gravity Falls, I've done this with Avatar. It actually started all with Avatar. So, with the Avatar Last Airbender characters. So, I decided, let's do, since I haven't done this in a while, let's challenge myself a little bit. Let's do something just a little bit more challenging this time around. And that, my friends, is what brought me here to do this this little event. So, anyway, let's get started with who would get the first ring, the Green Lantern of Willpower. So, it has to be someone who's overcome great fear and exhibits great willpower. So, that person who I think... There's a few characters, like, you could just insert name protagonist anywhere. But I'm going to go something a little interesting. My pick for the Green Lantern ring would be Komaro Naegi from Ultimate Despair Girls. Komaro was basically this shy, timid, very scaredy cat girl who, alongside Toko, basically became this super badass. So she literally embodied what a Green Lantern was. She essentially got the green ring. She would get a green ring for overcoming fear. That's kind of like a big thing to overcome, to get in the Green Lantern Corps, is to overcome fear. And in my opinion, Komaro exemplified that. At least in my opinion. So, let's move on now to the Blue Ring of Hope. Fuck's sake. This was a tough one. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you just give it to Nagito because he's all about that hope shit. Well, the thing is that you don't just have to be filled with hope, and his version of hope ain't what Saint Walker or Ganthet would want in the Blue Lantern Corps. So, Nagito would have been the easy way out, and honestly, when you look at it, he's like, you don't really qualify to get that kind of ring, dude. You do not, in any way, shape, or form, qualify to get a ring like that. So yeah, I was basically like, nah, son. So Komaro, not Komaro, Nagito was like, nah, I'm not gonna use and Nagito ain't getting the blue ring. Who is getting the blue ring is Makoto Naegi, who basically found the hope he needed to overcome Junko in the final, detective, the final case. That was the big thing, was that he had to overcome that and embrace that hope. That's what gets you into the Blue Lantern Corps, is embracing that hope. And Makoto Naegi definitely embraced hope, so I think he would definitely get the Blue Lantern ring. At least my opinion. Again, this one's going to be interesting because there's so many characters that, could qualify for a lot of these. So I was like, this one's going to be fun to see, so especially in the comments section. Anyway, so let's move on to our next ring. And the next ring is the Star Sapphire ring, the Ring of Love. So the Ring of Love, let's talk about that. How you get get to be a Star Sapphire in the vast array of the emotional spectrum. How you get to be that is you have to project love onto someone. You have to truly be in love with somebody to earn that ring. And there's several characters who get that. But I'm kind of leaning toward... There's one I'm really leaning towards, and that would be Pekko Pekoyama. So why would Pekko earn the Star Sapphire ring? Because she would do anything for Fuyuhiko. She had nothing but love for him, and at the same time, she viewed herself as nothing more than a tool, but she projected all of that love to him. So Pekko, in my opinion, would be a Star Sapphire. So, again, this is all my opinion, and this one's gonna, like I said, this was the tough one to do. So, let's move on now to the Indigo Ring. So, who would get the Indigo Ring of Compassion? Now, I'm gonna, like I like to explain a few times over with the Indigo Tribe Ring, the Indigo Tribe Ring isn't like you have to be a compassionate person. Someone has to give compassion onto you. Remember, that's how I'm going by how the lantern rings work, not by the emotional spectrum. So, basically, it has to be someone who was shown great compassion. And I know, a game where you have to kill everyone off without very little compassion really kind of spoils it, doesn't it? Like, yeah, it's kind of like redundant, because who's going to be alive to get that compassion? So, that's the big thing. But I thought about it, and this was my justification, was that who I would give the Indigo Ring of Compassion to is Toko Fukawa and her split personality Genocide Jack. Why? Because Komaru showed compassion and love for both personalities after finding out, hey, I got betrayed for just so she could try to get with Byakuya because she's obsessed with him. So, that was the moment where I was thinking about, yeah, Toko would be the one to get the Indigo Tribe Ring. She would get the Indigo Ring for that alone, because Komaru showed her that moment of compassion. And that's how you get it. It's not that you're a compassionate person. Someone has to give you that compassion. So, that was my kind of train of thought for that one. So let's move on now to the orange ring. The orange ring of avarice. Who would get the orange ring? Well, there's a few characters that kind of fill into that kind of greed. The orange ring is basically you have to be greedy. You want it all. That's the thing, is that's what gets you to be an Orange Lantern, is that you want everything. You want all of the power. You want everything is yours. Or you think everything is yours. So, that's kind of the major factor here. And there's a few characters who kind of pretty much want everything, but I was kind of leaning towards Byakuya, but then I thought there's another guy who wants it all. And that person is Kokichi Oma. Now you may be thinking, really? Kokichi Oma, when Byakuya was the more suitable one to pick for this, to pick for the ring? Well, let me explain. The reason why I picked Kokichi Oma to wield the Orange Lantern Ring was that mostly because he is a guy who wanted everything. He basically wanted to spoil the game, the killing game initially, just so he could show it was him. Like, he wanted all of the attention. He wanted all of it. There's different ways for greed. It's not just money and power. It's attention. It's, power over someone else, either emotionally or physically. And Kokichi checks all those marks to, kind of qualify to get an Orange Lantern Ring. That's not really an honor, really. That is, in no way, shape, or form, an honor to anyone. So in my opinion, Kokichi Oma would get the Orange Lantern Ring. So now we've come to the Red Lantern Ring. Now the Red Lantern Ring, as we all know, represents rage. And the thing is that, as I always explain in case for any new subscribers who don't really get the red rings, it's not that you have to be angry. You have to have a specific kind of rage. You need a righteous rage. You need a type of rage you believe you're justified in your rage. Like, something happened to you and you didn't get you didn't get justice for it. You have to have like a vengeful kind of rage. It has to be righteous rage. So honestly, I feel like the one person who's kind of leaning, and there were a few others, but I picked one, and that was Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu. Reason being is because I feel like, and you may be thinking, Fuyuhiko, really? You didn't go for, like, big angry man? Like I said, it has to be a righteous rage. And Fuyuhiko, after Pekko's death, basically would get the ring because he felt nothing but anger and rage towards, himself, as well as the killing game in of itself after losing a person he was actually, truly cared for. So, to lose her was to and not get it, and feel like he didn't get any justice for it, made him go, fuck you. Just fuck all of you. I'm gonna fucking burn this place to the ground. So, he may not be, the physically strongest, but it doesn't matter to the Red Ring. It doesn't matter to the ring and its qualifications. So, Fuyuhiko Kuzuryo would be my pick for the Red Lantern Ring. So, now we come to the final ring. And you're wondering, well, aren't there 2 other rings? Aren't there, 2 other... Well, technically 3. There's the Ultraviolet Lantern, which I'm not going to use. Nor am I going to use... I never use for these the White Lantern or Black Lantern rings. Mostly because the White Lantern can go to the White Lantern ring can go to anybody. Plus, the other reason... the Black Lantern is just for dead characters, and literally you could just use it for 50% of all the dead characters. So posthumously, see what I did there? Everyone who died in the Dangonropa series gets a Black Lantern ring. So yeah, everyone who died gets a Black Lantern ring. But let's move on now to the final ring of this, and that is, of course, the Sinestro Core Ring, the Ring of Fear. Do I even need to say who gets that ring? Of course, it's Junko. Who else? Who else qualifies, what's the qualification, you ask? Instill Great Fear? Yeah, Junko does that on a daily basis. So, Junko fucking Inoshima, the moment you watch this video, you had to have known... Oh, I bet it's Junko who gets the Sinestro Core Ring, right? She's the one who gets the Sinestro Core Ring. That's right? She's the one? Yeah, obviously. Who else was going to get the Sinestro Core Ring? Anyway, so there you go, guys. That is pretty much my list for Danganronpa characters getting lantern rings. So you guys tell me in the comments below, which Danganronpa characters do you feel should get lantern rings? As always, just comment below, let me know, and once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse, and I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.